19. The Roman general Germanicus dies near Antioch. He was convinced that the mysterious illness that ended in his death was a result of poisoning by the Syrian governor Gnaeus Calpurnius Piso, whom he had ordered to leave the province. 766. Emperor Constantine V humiliates 19 high-ranking officials, after discovering a plot against him. He executes the leaders, Constantine Papagoros and his brother Strategios. 1248. The Dutch city of Amen receives city rights and fortification rights from Otto III, the Archbishop of Utrecht. 1258. Regent George Mausolon and his brothers are killed during a coup headed by the aristocratic faction under Michael VIII Palaiologos, paving the way for its leader to ultimately usurp the throne of the Empire of Nicaea. 1270. Philip III, although suffering from dysentery, becomes King of France following the death of his father Louis IX, during the Eighth Crusade. His uncle, Charles I of Naples, is forced to begin peace negotiations with Muhammad I al-Mustansir, Hafsid Sultan of Tunis. 1537. The Honourable Artillery Company, the oldest surviving regiment in the British Army, and the second most senior, is formed. 1543. Antonio Mota and a few companions become the first Europeans to visit Japan. 1580. War of the Portuguese Succession. Spanish victory at the Battle of Alcantara brings about the Iberian Union. 1609. Galileo Galilei demonstrates his first telescope to Venetian lawmakers. 1630. Portuguese forces are defeated by the Kingdom of Kandy at the Battle of Randeniwela in Sri Lanka. 1758. 7 Years' War. Frederick II of Prussia defeats the Russian army at the Battle of Zorndorf. 1814. War of 1812. On the second day of the burning of Washington, British troops torched the Library of Congress, United States Treasury, Department of War, and other public buildings. 1823. American fur trapper Hugh Glass is mauled by a grizzly bear while on an expedition in South Dakota. 1825. The 33 Orientals declare the independence of Uruguay from Brazil. 1830. The Belgian Revolution begins. 1835. The first Great Moon Hoax article is published in the New York Sun, announcing the discovery of life and civilization on the moon. 1875. Captain Matthew Webb becomes the first person to swim across the English Channel, traveling from Dover, England, to Calais, France, in 21 hours and 45 minutes. 1883. France and Vietnam sign the Treaty of Hue, recognizing a French protectorate over Annam and Tonkin. 1894. Kitasato Shibasaburo discovers the infectious agent of the bubonic plague and publishes his findings in The Lancet. 1898. 700 Greek civilians, 17 British guards and the British consul of Crete are killed by a Turkish mob in Heraklion, Greece. 1904. Russo-Japanese War. The Battle of Liaoyang begins. It was a major land battle of the Russo-Japanese War, on the outskirts of the city of Liaoyang in present-day Liaoning Province, China. 1914. World War I. The library of the Catholic University of Leuven is deliberately destroyed by the German army. Hundreds of thousands of irreplaceable volumes and Gothic and Renaissance manuscripts are lost. 1920. Polish-Soviet War. Battle of Warsaw, which began on August 13, ends with the Red Army's defeat. 1939. The Irish Republican Army carries out the 1939 Coventry bombing in which 5 civilians were killed. 1939. The United Kingdom and Poland form a military alliance in which the UK promises to defend Poland in case of invasion by a foreign power. 1941. World War II. Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran. The United Kingdom and the Soviet Union jointly stage an invasion of the Imperial State of Iran. 1942. World War II. Second day of the Battle of the Eastern Solomons. A Japanese naval transport convoy headed towards Guadalcanal is turned back by an Allied air attack. 1942. World War II. Battle of Milne Bay. Japanese Marines assault Allied airfields at Milne Bay, New Guinea, initiating the Battle of Milne Bay. 1944. World War II. Paris is liberated by the Allies after more than 4 years of Nazi occupation. 1945. 10 days after World War II ends with Japan announcing its surrender, armed supporters of the Chinese Communist Party kill U.S. intelligence officer John Birch, regarded by some of the American right as the first victim of the Cold War. 1945. The August Revolution ends as Emperor Bao Dai abdicates, marked the end of the 143-year reign of the Nguyen dynasty over Vietnam and ending the Vietnamese monarchy. 1958. The world's first publicly marketed instant noodles, chicken ramen, are introduced by Taiwanese-Japanese businessman Momofuku Ando. 1961 President Jânio Quadros of Brazil resigns after just 7 months in power, initiating a political crisis that culminates in a military coup in 1964. 1967 George Lincoln Rockwell, founder of the American Nazi Party, is assassinated by a former member of his group. 1981 Voyager 2 spacecraft makes its closest approach to Saturn. 1989 Voyager 2 spacecraft makes its closest approach to Neptune, the last planet in the solar system at the time, due to Pluto being within Neptune's orbit from 1979 to 1999. 1991 Belarus gains its independence from the Soviet Union. 1991 The Battle of Vukovar begins. An 87-day siege of Vukovar by the Yugoslav People's Army, JNA, supported by various Serb paramilitary forces, between August and November 1991. 1991 Linus Torvalds announces the first version of what will become Linux, a free operating system on computers. 1997 Egon Krenz, the former East German leader, is convicted of a shoot-to-kill policy at the Berlin Wall. 2001 American singer Aaliyah and several members of her record company are killed as their overloaded aircraft crashes shortly after takeoff from Marsh Harbor Airport, Bahamas. 2003 NASA successfully launches the Spitzer Space Telescope into space. 2006 Former Prime Minister of Ukraine Pavlo Lazarenko is sentenced to 9 years imprisonment for money laundering, wire fraud, and extortion. 2011 52 people are killed during an arson attack caused by members of the drug cartel Los Zetas in a casino in Monterrey, Mexico. 2012 Voyager 1 spacecraft enters interstellar space, becoming the first man-made object to do so. 2017 conflict in Rakhine State. 170 people are killed in at least 26 separate attacks carried out by the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, leading to the governments of Myanmar and Malaysia designating the group as a terrorist organization.